Hi. Today I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about some of the misconceptions about being a human being. So what if everything that you have come to understand about yourself and the human experience is a lie? What if you are actually a divine spiritual being having a human experience? Every spiritual tradition, every religion shares one thing in common. And that is, we are made in the image of the breath of Source or God or the divine, whatever language you choose to use for this. And that this is true for everything in creation. Everything in creation is divine, is Source, is God. So what if you have chosen to forget that truth? And what if the entire point of the human experience is to heal and remember that, to have challenges, to overcome those challenges, to find that reconnection to yourself, right? The divine is within you, and it is all around you. But the way to access it is by going inward. I am not the only spiritual teacher out there teaching this truth. There are many talking about the ascension of the planet right now, or talking about God being within, or talking about you being a spiritual being. So how do you embody this truth? How do you claim this as your birthright? Because that's what it is. This is your birthright, to be a divine human being, to create and co-create the human experience with others, right? So how do you embody the divine? Well, you have to heal yourself. You have to begin to go inward and listen to the darkness or the shadow within you, the places where you have disconnected from yourself, or your wounds, or your pain, or your suffering, or where you are engaging in behaviors that are protective in nature but cause harm to self or other. And you've got to acknowledge that. That is a part of who you are. These wounded little children inside you. And that's what they are from a neuroscience perspective. They are neural pathways that developed in childhood or young adulthood before the brain was fully formed. And actually, the experiences in childhood informed the functioning and the development of your brain. So even though you are born with the divine traits, which include compassion, love, peace, collaboration, adult discernment, the ability to regulate your emotion, curiosity, confidence, courage, connectedness, creativity. You might have learned to fear those aspects of yourself if you had experiences in childhood that gave messages that those were somehow unsafe, right? Or somehow flawed. So you've got to reclaim those parts of yourself. You've got to develop new neural pathways to the frontal lobe. And how do we do that? We do that through mindfulness, right? We do that by observing ourselves, by developing tools to regulate ourselves, whether those be through psychological theories or things like yoga, right? Where you learn to be with your body and your sensations. But you got to learn to be with yourself in a loving and nurturing way. And you've got to come to remember these truths for yourself. My book, The Divine Within, Healing Ourselves to Heal the World, does explore these concepts in more depth and does offer a step-by-step guide of how to do this for yourself based on the neuroscience research on mindfulness. Okay? And what the research shows is that when you are practicing mindfulness, and in particular loving kindness, new neural pathways to the frontal lobe form. And neural pathways to the amygdala, where fight, flight, freeze are active, decrease, and the amygdala begins to shrink. So you develop the ability to regulate your emotions, to be with your emotions in wider contexts, handling more and more intense emotions, right? You also develop more compassion for self and other, and the adult perspective that everybody is doing the best they can, and that they're all divine beings having a human experience, struggling to reconnect to the truth within themselves, that they are love and peace in the human form. And the more that we begin to reconnect with ourselves in a loving way, the more we are able to show up in our relationships in a loving way. Because all of the teachings in all traditions teach that we should love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And if we don't love ourselves, how can we love our neighbor? So healing begins by reconnecting with the truth that you are a divine being, which is, in essence, love and peace, and that you are capable of loving yourself, every part of yourself, in a nurturing way. And that's how you raise your vibration. That's how you embody your God self, right? Because we all have a direct line of connection to Source, okay? Source is not separate from you. God is not separate from you. Whatever language you choose, I'm using God because I was raised Catholic and that resonates with me. But if that doesn't resonate with you, find language that does. And you'll know when it resonates because you'll feel open and expansive in your body. You'll feel at peace. You'll feel a deep sense of love and connection. Doesn't mean you're never going to experience suffering. Doesn't mean that you're never going to experience negative, what we call negative emotions, but all emotions are sacred messengers. They are messengers that a need or a boundary inside ourselves has been crossed, or we have witnessed something in the external world that implies that the needs and boundaries of others have been crossed, right? So we need to come together to advocate so that all of our needs and boundaries can be respected. All parts of ourselves are sacred. I'm sending you so much love and appreciation for who you are. I can feel the tears welling up because I can feel the support of the consciousness that is all. That there's nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You are a beautiful being who has just forgotten that they are love and peace in the human experience. So reclaim that birthright. Take back your power. Stop giving it away to culture. Stop giving it away to your family. Stop giving it away to your partner. Stop giving it away to governments. Together we create community and the world that we want to live in. And do you want to create a world that is based on fear and hate? Or do you want to build a world that is based on love and sacredness of all things so that we all can thrive? I'll let you decide for yourself what feels in alignment with where you are. Thank you. If you found this video helpful, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Hope you'll consider buying my book, or go to my website, blossomingheartwellness.com, to learn how to work with me, or to take my online course, which will be released sometime in November 2025.